I'm going to be sharing a few of the points she raised in her video of how she was enslaved by the company she was recruited for. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as That Mom of 5 and also known as TMO5 Kanko. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. So on this channel I share everything about my life in Scotland. I did share my journey as a nursing student and also everything in health and social care. I do lifestyle, I do vlogging, I do all of the above. When we say lifestyle, all of the above. So I came across a video of a lady who was a Nigerian nurse recruited. A Nigerian nurse recruited from overseas. So she was recruited from here through like an agency. So I'm going to be sharing a few of the points she raised in her video of how she was enslaved by the company she was recruited for. And before I start on that, I just want to say two things. I want to advise you on two things. So if you are a nurse in the UK, if you're not originally born here and you are a nurse, please go and join Royal College of Nursing. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll leave their name and the link on the screen somewhere. So Royal College of Nursing, they help with professional development, membership, they help with employment if you have an issue at work. Hopefully you will not have an issue at work, but it's good to have them as your backbone. And have my reason for that. So make sure you are a member of the Royal College of Nursing. I've been a Royal College of Nursing member since I was a nursing student. So now I'm a nurse. I still have them and I pay membership fee every month. So join them. And secondly, if you are a nurse and you're working in the UK, you want to enlighten yourself with the NMC code. So we all know Nursing and Midwifery Council, they are the regulatory body for all nurses in the United Kingdom. If you are not registered with them, you won't be able to practice as a nurse in the United Kingdom. So they've got something they call the code, the professional standards of practice and behavior for nurses, midwives and nursing associates. And the code has 4 pillars. 4 pillars: 1, prioritize people, practice effectively, preserve safety, promote professionalism and trust. So that being said, this is like a Bible. If you know all this inside and out, trust me, if an issue is about to brew while at work, you will know your next point of action. I'm telling you, you will know. So that being said, so this is a story about a lady, like I said. So I've just got a point of obviously about her. So she was a nurse recruited from Nigeria through overseas teams. So like my workplace now, they recruit overseas nurses. So this one was recruited through a team, and then they now gave her like obviously the organization she was going to be working with. So she was meant to work 44 hours a week. 22 of those hours she will be working alongside other nurses in the care home, and the 22 hours will be for her training, which according to her was not almost that case, because if out of that 22 hours when she was meant to be training, she was practically being thrown to join them and work. So at some point, she said she and her other colleague there, who were also Nigerians, were threatened for not taking extra hours. So if they were taking extra hours, that would have meant they were working up to 77 hours a week. And for her, she said no, and her other friend also said no, that she doesn't want overtime hours, and this our colleague was threatened. Can you imagine? She also said that the care home was in a rural area in England. So rural area in England, you would expect that things like this would happen because they think they are in a hidden place and nobody will see or know what they are doing. Trust me, this is not the first story I've heard about Nigerian nurses who work in care homes, especially in rural areas. And also, in her contract, she was promised work and life balance. So this lady came alone with the hope that her family would join her later. But at some point, her situation changed, whereby obviously when they contacted her, she said she would prefer working nights. So her situation changed when her husband and her children came, and she still wants to keep working the night, but her employer is trying to make her work days as well. And she said, no, what about the work and life balance you promised me? I specifically wanted to work nights so that my husband will look after the kids during the day, and that way, you know how it is when you are a parent and you've got kids and both of you are working shifts. You all need to work the shifts so it's balanced, so that you won't be spending all of your money in a childminder's house. So obviously they were going back on that promise they made for her, which I think the employer is at fault in this regard. And I did understand if the employer now wants her to start working days as well, because an employer or a workplace will provide staffs based on the services requirements. So if during the day they are needing extra hands and they felt at night time they don't need lots of staff during night, they might need to try and start moving some staff to maybe some days, do some days during the week rather than your entire shift being nights. So in this case, this lady was meant to be doing 4 days a week and she was doing 4 nights. So it would have been appropriate if they maybe approach her in a reasonable manner and give her time to say, you know what, we will employ you to start working maybe 1 or 2 days out of your nights, and they will give her enough time so that she could make arrangements. But trying to enforce that onto her was just the wrong thing for the employer to do. And I don't blame her when she said no, that she was not going to change from her night, because they asked her what shift pattern would you like, and she said nights. So, and she did say that others were working days and they stood by days, others were working nights, but they've not asked these other people to come on 2 days. So obviously in this regard, the way she explained that in a few other instances, I could see a shade of discrimination going on there. And like I said, they were in rural areas, so they would think they can get away with stuff like that. But I commend this lady for standing up for herself. So obviously she was meant to get trained for 3 months according to her contract, and after she got her pin, she was only given a week of preceptorship, that is a week of working alongside qualified members of staff after she qualified, after she got her pin. On a normal day in the UK, when I newly qualified, I got 6 weeks of preceptorship. That is, everything I do, I was working alongside a registered member of staff even after I've gotten my pin. Even though that particular place that I worked at, I was a student there for 3 months, I know in and out of that job. But they did not say because I was there as a student that, oh, you don't need preceptorship. No, I still got my 6-week preceptorship. So for someone who did not train in the UK, she was trained as a nurse in Nigeria. And after that 3 months of a training that was not fully conducive for her, that was not really effective for her, they decided to give her 1 week instead of 6 weeks. Nah, that's wrong. I think from this point, that is when this lady should have known that something's about to happen, and she should have voiced her concerns to RCN to say this is the situation, this is the situation. RCN will have stepped in at that moment for her. Yeah. Or even just emailing our NMC to say, no, can I clarify on this? They will let her know straight away that yes, the employer, they are doing a shade of dirty, because if anything were to happen, it's going to be on her. It's not going to be on the employer. Remember the case of the 4 Nigerians that I told you about? I believe they were trained, but this one's just decided to go the other way around. But in this case, this is a nurse. Trust me, anything happens, she'll be hung to dry alone. According to her also, she did say that the way her manager was communicating with her, treating her, she could send a bit of her being racist, because obviously she's never worked with people being recruited from overseas before. But not knowing does not mean that you should not know how to look after people who've never lived here before. Like this lady was saying, she doesn't have friends, she doesn't have families who's going to look after her kids. And when I said I wanted night shift, was what you asked me, and you promised me that. So why are you trying to take that away from me? So like I said, I feel a bit of discrimination here, and the manager being a racist. So let's be truthful. When I see something wrong, I will say it. This is not a matter of just shading Nigerians because they do something bad. No, other people do bad things as well, and if there's evidence to show that what they did was wrong, I will be here calling them out. And I'm saying in this video that that manager that lady had, nah, she was absolutely wrong. Like I said, shade of discrimination and racism going on there. So obviously her nightmare began when she refused to say no, she was not going to work night, she was not going to work days, that she only wants to work night shifts, and her life was made miserable, you know. So I just felt lots of things was done wrong to her, and I want to believe that she has read the NMC code as well for her to be able to know that a few of the things the manager was doing was absolutely wrong. And also she did mention how during one night shift, I don't know how many residents she was looking after at that care home at that particular night, but she did say that a care assistant was brought, a care assistant who has never worked in care before. She was meant to orientate this person. I'm like, what? They are just coming for the first time and you're meant to give them training on a night shift? That's a shit of them. It was clear that they were trying to set this Nigerian nurse, they are trying to set her up for failure. So obviously she said during that shift she had to send a resident to an hospital because obviously something that was an emergency, and because she failed to write in the patient's note that patient is now in hospital, the manager pulled her up for it. They slammed her with a disciplinary action, and luckily for her, she did contacted RCN, and RCN stepped into place for her. And at some point, I think RCN got back to her to say that the manager said she lacked leadership skills. In a way, this manager, obviously succeeded in getting her to start working the day shift. So obviously she created something out of nothing, just because she wanted to get this Nigerian nurse to start working day shift. Obviously because she said she doesn't have leadership skills, so blah blah blah. Maybe in a way it would have been good for this Nigerian nurse to work maybe a couple of days day shift, so she knows what's actually happening during the day, how the day shift goes. But then she should stick to her guns for working night shift, because obviously, like she said, she doesn't have childcare. It's a rural place. She and her husband are just managing childcare between themselves. And for the fact that this manager is not being empathetic to understand that, okay, this is a new person in the UK. And I think according to her, she said she's only been in the UK as at that time for about 7 months. She does not have friends, she does not have siblings here, she does not have family here. Who is she going to keep her kids with? Her husband had to work. And at some point she said that the manager said, oh, but your husband is a dependent. Yeah, because her husband is a dependent does not mean that he should not work. And this woman was saying that, come, my husband was doing great in Nigeria. He was more or less like providing for the family. And you don't say because he's a dependent. You can't turn him to a nanny. No, my husband is not going to be a nanny. He's going to work and provide for his family. What do you mean he's a dependent? Just because you want me to satisfy your job services or your job requirement? No, my husband is not going to babysit the kids. He has to work for his family. And like I said, I'm sticking to my guns of working night shift because you asked me specifically before I came, and I told you that was what I wanted, and I was told you I will get that. So why are you trying to go back on that? So yeah, she stuck to her guns. And also I just want to say this, that I know trying to get COS from Nigeria might be difficult, and be careful for those of you who are trying to get COS from Nigeria, because there's been a lot of scams going on. I'm going to link a video up here in the cards of how some care homes are actually being investigated by the Home Office. So congratulations if you already secured your COS. But I just want to say to you that once you get into the UK and your employer or your current job that sponsored you are treating you dirty, they don't care about your mental health, they don't care about your emotions, they don't care about you as an individual, and you notice from how they are treating you that some of the behavior is going against these 4 pillars, please leave that job. It's not a matter of if you can't beat them, join them. No. That slogan does not work in healthcare, it does not work in social work, it does not work when you're looking after a fellow human being. If you think they're discriminating against you, and there's a code here when it comes to prioritizing people, promote professionalism and trust, if any of the behavior your employer or a care home that has sponsored you, if any of the things they do, and you think, oh, that's against this particular pillar of this NMC code, please start planning your way to leave that job, because you don't want to stay there till something happens and then you are now facing court and stuff like that. So I'm quite happy for this lady, because she left that job, and she says she's actually gone to another care home which she loves. Yeah, care homes differ. If you don't go in there, you wouldn't know how it works. For me, I've seen enough cases, like I did share in my previous videos of how I used to work in a care home and I did not like what was going on in there. If I were to work in a care home, there's no way I'm going to go to that care home to work. Other care homes might not be like that. So for her, she said the care home that she's currently working now is good, and I'm quite happy for her. And also, I just want to say also that be very, very vigilant, especially if you're not trained in the UK as a nurse. Because even for me that I was trained in the UK, I did, I think, 2,300 hours, 3 hours of work, and I get 6 weeks of preceptorship. So I felt that being given 3 months to train, even though you were not trained in the UK as a nurse, 3 months is too small. I think the training should be between 6 to 9 months. I once met a lady who was a nurse for 20 years and then she stopped. She was out of practicing for almost 15 years and decided to come back to nursing. I remember clearly that she went back to uni for like a year and we were on the same placement together, and that was how I knew. So where I was having my placement, she was recruited by that employer. So she was practically training in there, and she was wearing grey uniform just like my uniform to say, no, yeah, she used to be a nurse, but she left nursing for 10 years and she's come back and she has to go do 1 year. So that's someone who was trained in the UK, and someone who was not trained in the UK only got a training of 3 months. Yeah, this lady might have extensive experience from Nigeria, but still I think 3 months of training is just not enough. Yeah, she might be going to work in a care home, and I would say care home working as a nurse in a care home is even much more heavy as compared to any other care homes. But anyway, I just want to say this: no work is worth your mental health. No work is what you ignoring your physical self, not looking after yourself, not looking kept, not looking haggard. No job is what making you look and feel that way. If you are in a job and it's starting to mess with your mental health, trust me, you want to get out of that job before it lands you into trouble. That is my word of advice for you. And for those of you, like I said, if you're already in the UK, getting a COS from another employer while you're already in the UK, it gets better. If you go onto DWP website, there are several nursing roles who are willing to give you certificate of sponsorship if you are already in the UK. If you are to with Nigeria, if you are to with UK, it might be a bit difficult because there are lots of fake, COS givers out there. But if you're already in the UK and you want to leave another job to go to another employer, you will easily get another employer who will give you a certificate of sponsorship while you are already in the UK. So don't say, oh, you don't know how you're going to go about it and you want to get stuck in a job because you offer you sponsorship. You can leave as long as another employer you find is offering you COS. So that's another take in regards to that for you. Like, don't stay in a job because if anything happens to you, if by God forbid you go to jail because of what happened in a care job, they will replace you and you'll be the one suffering. So a word for the wise. All right, anyway, this is the end of my video. If you have a Nigerian nurse who has been recruited from Nigeria and you work in a care home here in the UK or in the hospital, feel free to share your experiences below. And if you have a story of your experience like that and you want me to discuss about it on my channel, I'm actually start taking such comments now. So if you're in the UK as a nurse from Nigeria or from anywhere in the world and you would like to share your experiences or your story with me, feel free to email me. My email is in the description box, or you can DM me. My Instagram handle, I'll pop it on the screen here, and also going to be in the description box as well. Email me your stories, let me know, tell me your experience, and I'll be happy to share them on here if you give me the permission to do so. Anyway, like I said, share experiences below. Let me know what you think about what I discussed in this video, and also don't forget to drop a beautiful comment in the comment section and share your experience. Subscribe if you're yet to do so. Turn on the post notification so you don't miss any other talks like this from me. Share this video as well because you can never tell who you might be helping with this video, and I hope to catch up with you in my next video. All right, bye.